All right, moving over to the AFC East. In the AFC East, you have the Patriots, Bills, Dolphins, and Jets. Unfortunately, for three of those teams, this is still the Patriots division. None of those teams did enough to make up the ground on the Patriots, as much as I hate to say that because the Patriots have been winning forever, and it's annoying. But let's start with the Patriots. The Patriots have Tom Brady once again, 1 year older, but still a very good quarterback. At running back, they have a committee. Doesn't really matter who they have. Gronkowski is supposed to be back for week 1, but maybe not. Should be back soon, though. They just got Tim Wright. I think his name's Tim Wright. His last name's Wright for sure. As the other tight end, which will be nice. That'll be a 2 tight end set for them. They have a whole bunch of decent receivers, you know, Tompkins, Dobson, etc. Now here's what I love. They have Amendola and Edelman, both the little white guys. Amendola can't stay healthy to save his life, but Edelman can, and he will be a pass catching machine this year. And I can't wait to see it because I love him. I love those the little guys that are, you know, gritty and just fight for every yard and are ballers. I love it. So on defense, they got much better though. Here's the thing. Peep game. Belichick is very intelligent. They saw what happened last year. They saw that they were the step behind the Broncos, but then the Broncos were 10 steps behind the Seahawks. So what they did was they invested in defense. So they went out and got Revis. They went out and got Browner. They went, you know what I'm saying? They brought in very good pieces to their defense. So instead of their defense being midway, they're trying to be a little bit closer to the top because they know their offense can produce with Tom. And so if their defense can be middle of the pack or better, they'll obviously win their division. But as far as going deep into the playoffs and getting past the Broncos, their chances are a lot better. That makes sense? All right. So moving on to the Jets. I don't like Ryan as a coach at all. So I'm not really a Jets hater. I just think he's an idiot. So I think their Achilles heel is going to be their secondary this year. On offense, I'm not a believer in Geno Smith. They're saying he looks a lot better this year. Show me. Michael Vick. This is Michael Vick, but he can't stay healthy. Chris Johnson, not a like I said earlier, you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent. So Chris Johnson, if you want me to believe you're CJ2K, how about you run for like 1,400? Start with that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not a believer in him. Eric Decker, not a fan. He's going to get targets because he's a big body, red zone targets. But I'm not a believer in him as number 1 receiver at all. Besides that, not really believe in their offense much at all. If Geno Smith has progressed that much in the offseason, they could produce on offense. Will he? I'll believe when I see it. On defense, I think they have a lot of good pieces, but their secondary is very thin. They have a really nice, I think his name's Calvin Pryor, very good rookie safety, but their cornerbacks are really shaky, and I think that'll be how teams pick on them. Moving on to the Dolphins. The Dolphins, on offense, man, I'm not really a believer in Ryan Tannehill, and they have Lamar Miller and Noshawn Marino. Mike Wallace at receiver. They're supposed to get him the ball more this year. Charles Clay is a nice little weapon. Their defense is, you know, middle of the road, not too bad. But I just don't, you know, when your offense is middle of the road and your defense is middle of the road, that doesn't equal wins. That just equals a lot of close games and a mediocre record. Trust me, I'm a Browns fan, I would know. So with the Dolphins, I think they really need to put up more on offense to be a contender, especially to compete with the Patriots. And I don't think they're ready to do that. I don't think they're that good on defense, and I definitely don't think they're that good on offense. So I think they'll be 7-9 at best this year. Moving on to the Bills. The Bills, last but not least. The Bills have the player that the Browns should have, Sammy Watkins. That pisses me off. E.J. Manuel is going to be a big reason they either fail or succeed this year. If he can take the next step in being a playmaker and a legitimate, you know, franchise quarterback, they could make some noise this year. They could be a wild card team in that division. Will he do that? That's a big if. I love Sammy Watkins. They picked up Mike Williams. They have some other pieces on Robert Woods on offense. C.J. Spiller, Fred Jackson. So they have things around E.J. Manuel, but you know, if you put a whole bunch of weapons around a mediocre quarterback, you still have a mediocre quarterback. So it doesn't really matter, right? They had a great defense last year with Mike Pettin. Mike Pettin's with the Browns now. So will they do as good without Mike Pettin? remains to be seen. They don't have Jarius Byrd, which is their best safety. I think he went to the Saints, and so that will hurt. So I think they're going to take a step back on defense. They also lost Kiko Alonso, so not looking good for the Bills. All right, that's it for that division. Moving on.